Hey, Patrick Hoffman here with a sit and talk. It's too hot. I'm just too lazy to do a walk and talk. We'll do a sit and talk on cancel culture. How far are the SJW brigade going to go with things that have to be canceled? In a previous video, I've mentioned Aunt Jemima, got to go. Uncle Ben's Rice, got to go. Movies like Gone with the Wind, got to go. How about Holiday Inn, starring Bing Crosby? Nope, that's got to go because Bing Crosby did a song in blackface called Abraham. So this is a white actor playing a black singer who's singing about anti-racism, against slavery. The song Abraham is about Abraham Lincoln, you know, the guy who freed the slaves, the Republican president who freed the slaves. How about Hamilton? Now, Hamilton by Lin-Manuel Miranda, the Tony Award-winning musical about Alexander Hamilton and the Founding Fathers, that's getting attacked now by SJWs, mainly because it expresses a pro-American viewpoint. Now, I personally thought that the casting of black actors for white historical characters was annoying. Not that I care that much, but that it's a double standard. You cannot have a white actor playing a historically black character. That's called whiteface. And we all agree, right, that whiteface is outrageous. Well, Hamilton is whiteface in reverse. It's basically blackface. Again, two sets of rules. In music, the poor Dixie Chicks, they're going to set up for the Dixie Cup Company to go down in flames as well. If you're going to cancel the Dixie Chicks, as they canceled themselves by calling themselves the Chicks, which is sexist. Lady Antebellum changed their name to Lady A, but they didn't mention this to singer Anita White, who performs under the name Lady A, so they're in a legal squabble. See, the left on things like this eventually becomes a circular firing squad. How about sports teams? Why is the Chicago Blackhawks, why haven't they been canceled? Are they next? The Kansas City Chiefs, they're apparently holding their ground for now. They might succumb, but for now, the Chiefs are going to stay the Chiefs. The Atlanta Braves are going to keep their name for now, but they can't do the ooh, you know, the tomahawk chop, which is a victory gesture. Braves are called Braves because they're brave. The Indians were a formidable warrior, opponent, enemy, if you will. That's why sports teams are named after Indians. The Cleveland Indians, got to go. How about the Washington Redskins? They're obviously got to go. You can't have red skin as your name. Now, my idea was just to say, just go whole hog and say, let's just call them the Washington Blackskins. But someone else, another idea online was to call them the Woketards, the Washington Woketards, which I thought was pretty good. But my favorite is the Washington Thinskins. There's a movement in Edmonton. The team, the Canadian Football League team, the Edmonton Eskimos, has a double E logo. They want to change their name to who knows what. And interestingly enough, a group of Inuits, First Nations people who live in Western Canada, primarily Alberta, have already objected to this idea, saying, guys, come on, this is getting ridiculous. You're not going to usher in some great new platform movement of racial equality just because you change the name of a team. People are just piling on now at this point. And besides, the EE logo is embedded everywhere on all these sports teams. It's on placards, clipboards, it's in locker rooms, it's on jerseys, it's on every helmet, it's on letterhead, it's on billboards, everywhere, social media platforms. The owners of the Edmonton Eskimos have already said that it's going to cost about $1 million to change the name. So I have an idea. If anyone from the Edmonton Eskimos is watching this, why don't you launch a GoFundMe and solicit funds from your fan base or from anyone and see how many dollars or loonies or toonies you get. I'll bet you get very few if you ask people to pay for this. Because normal, non-radicalized persons are sick of this movement, this SJW piling on, this social contagion toward irrational insanity, all in the name of virtue signaling. The John Wayne Airport. Well, John Wayne, in 1971, I believe, in Playboy magazine, made some remarks about interracial status and said some things about white supremacy that have people all up in arms. The sentence fragments and the passages from that interview that have been scoured, I mean, I don't know who did all this research. They finally found it. It's shorn of context. You're not sure exactly what he's getting at. However, he was born in 1908, and his views reflect the views of that generation by about 95%. So, California Democrats, that has not stopped them from passing a resolution to take down John Wayne's statue and rename the airport. Now, John Wayne is an interesting example, and I think it's very telling. This is the iconic American symbol of masculinity. John Wayne is it. He's the cowboy of cowboys. And what powers a lot of this SJW, Antifa, Black Lives Matter rage is hatred of the father. From the lesbian co-founders of Black Lives Matter, who are trans activists, they had bad fathers. They hate them. Patriotism, the fatherland, patriotic, patriarchal. It all comes from patris and patria. These are the Latin words for father. So John Wayne, of course, is going to be in the crosshairs of all this anti-father, anti-male, really strong, salient, masculine male figure. There's a football team in England called the Bristol Aztecs. That's got to go. That's obviously culturally appropriating the Aztec people. Everyone who marries, as I did, an Hispanic woman, according to the SJWs, that means that you've fetishized them. Is that true? Where does it end? Are we allowed to call the Black Eyed Peas the Black Eyed Peas? Are we allowed to call a spade a spade? Are we allowed to say that it's always darkest before the dawn? This is not a parody. People will complain about this eventually, because I think they're just getting started. We can move on to statues. There's a couple statues that I noticed they have not touched, and maybe they just don't know yet. For instance, Martin Luther King Jr. It's part of the public record of his biography that he was not faithful to his wife, that he had multiple affairs, that he had at least one child out of wedlock that we know about. The FBI has a report that's going to be finally released along with audio evidence in 2027, so that's 7 years hence, that indicate he witnessed a sexual assault and was joking with the assailant, encouraging the rapist, essentially. Martin Luther King Jr., by the way, was also in a porn movie called I Am Curious Yellow, where he was interviewed as himself. Totally bizarre. Now, the left don't care about sexual sin because that doesn't exist for them. But what happened to #MeToo? To my knowledge, 2 Martin Luther King Jr. scholars have dropped projects because of this information that's been released. And we'll find out more as we go on. So he's one. Another one is Margaret Sanger. Now, this racist eugenicist foundress of Planned Parenthood has statues all over the country. This is a woman who wanted fewer black babies in this world. Now, Planned Parenthood, I guess to their credit, but I think it's more to the credit of people like Lila Rose and Live Action that have done so much work to educate the public as to who Margaret Sanger was, that they've begun to distance themselves from her legacy. But, there's still the Maggie Awards, so there's a lot of work to go there, including convincing Planned Parenthood that killing babies is not a great idea, especially for the babies, from their point of view. So, this is where we're at. Love to hear your comments below. What do you think is up next in the crosshairs of the SJW brigade that want to cleanse the world of the evils of racism, no matter how absurd? Check out coffinnation.com. We talk about culture and faith and cinema and the foundations of America, and we do everything we can to have conversations that lead to action to repair the DNA damage done to this great country and to the West in general. See you on the inside. In the meantime, be a saint. What else is there?